It's always good advice to read the fine print, and now there's a move underway to get your representatives here in Washington to actually read the fine and not so fine print of the laws they vote on that govern your life. So why is this effort getting so much resistance? We report, you decide. Here's Chief Washington correspondent Jim Engel.
Congress is wrestling with sweeping legislation, everything from changing the way we use energy to a fundamental reform of health care. Now some senators are asking a nagging question about the latest health care proposal. Does anyone know what's in it?
It's a 1,000-page bill. You would think that we at least ought to know what we're voting on, and the American people ought to know what we're voting on. I think 72 hours posting on the internet prior to a vote is totally reasonable and appropriate.
Last week, as the Senate Finance Committee worked on health care, Senator Jim Bunning proposed an amendment requiring 72 hours for lawmakers to read any bill before they have to vote.
This probably sounds a little crazy to most people, that we would be voting on something where we haven't actually seen legislative language. Well, they would be right. It is a little crazy.
Several said that would be the right thing to do, but others argued it would take a couple of weeks to write an actual bill, and it would probably be merged with other bills anyway.
This is fundamentally a delay tactic. Let's be honest about it. The legislative language, everybody knows, is relatively arcane, legalistic, and most people don't read the legislative language.
But in the House, bills have actually been passed that no lawmaker could possibly have read.
We saw it in the stimulus bill, we saw it in the budget, and we saw it with our national energy tax.
That's a reference to climate change legislation, which aimed to cut carbon emissions in part by taxing coal in a way that would have made utility bills far more expensive. The bill started out in April at 650 pages. After substantial changes, it emerged weeks later from committee at 950 pages. By June, it was 1,200 pages.
And then on Friday morning at 3 a.m., they released another 300 pages and brought the bill to the floor Friday morning at 9 a.m. and said, we're going to have it done by the end of the day.
A bill that intends to reduce carbon emissions by more than 80% in the coming decades and completely change our energy sources.
This is the most significant bill in a century, and we're going to push it through the House in one day when nobody's read the bill.
Bills like these are the biggest policy decisions most members of Congress will make in their entire careers. That's why Representative Mike Walden, an Oregon Republican, has been trying to get a 72-hour rule passed in the House. So far, he's been unable to get Democratic leaders to let it come to a vote, but we'll try again this week. In Washington, Jim Engel, Fox News.